Oh, look who I got. Look who I got on a Friday morning. There's breaking news. There's all kinds of things to talk about. There's almost nobody I'd rather talk about everything and nothing with than our friend, PhD, Fordham University, author, commentator, friend, declutterer, New Amsterdam columnist. It's Dr. Christina Greer, or as her friends call her, Chrissy. Good morning. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime. Good morning.
Lots to talk about with you as always, and I'm always happy to get the opportunity. People love when you join me. And I just got to ask you about this breaking news that Don Lemon has been arrested by the regime. And I just wanted to get your reaction to that news this morning. Not only Don Lemon, but another independent journalist, apparently, both of which were at that church where there was a protest and they were also there, I guess, covering the protest.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Georgia Fort, who's also an independent journalist. Yeah, I mean, this is the intimidation tactic by this administration to make sure that journalists are a little reticent to go places, protesters are reticent to go places. I mean, this is what we see in all authoritarian regimes. This is what was promised during the campaign season, every day, all day. You know, when he said, I don't like the journalists. I don't like how they report on me. They should be locked up. Lock them up, leaving these chants. And so now, especially, you know, he has a particular disdain for Black people, Black women in particular. And we see he's had 3 Black women arrested and Don Lemon, who he said 2 weeks ago or a week ago. It's like, I don't like him. He should be arrested for the things that he says about me. And here we are. Now we have Pam Bondi, who clearly is just trying to stay in the good graces of the president because she's been slightly on the outs at times. And so what's so fascinating to me is everyone in the president's administration at some point in time a few years ago has said that he is grossly incompetent and he would drive this country into the ground and like ignore
Yeah.
all the rules.
Yeah.
And he's the most dangerous person for our democracy. And yet all of them are just in lockstep. And it's happening so fast. You know, teaching intro to politics, it's like I'm trying to teach them the foundation of American democracy as it crumbles, like in real time. So I feel like China's like, look at all this beautiful architecture as we run out of the flaming building. Like this is literally what I'm trying to do twice a week. Just like, oh wait, it's changed over time. Like, look at all this stuff. But wait, I can't tell you what the building's gonna look like tomorrow. Good luck. Like by the time I see you all on Monday, who knows where we're gonna be.
I have 2 very astute observations about this Don Lemon arrest. One is it's going to backfire similar to the way that the whole Jimmy Kimmel firing thing happened. He pressured FCC to get rid of him. In this case, he pressures DOJ. A couple judges are like, hell no, he didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Arrest him for what? Anyway, Don Lemon becomes greater, stronger, more influential than he's ever been as a result, is one astute observation. And the other one is this is just another distraction. It's like he's got a bunch of post-it notes or just ideas. That's all he thinks about. What's the thing I could do to drive today's news cycle? So it's like wake up Friday morning. I guess it happened on Thursday night. And we'll all talk about Don Lemon being arrested for covering a protest in a church as opposed to the Epstein files or any other number of very important, or you know, ICE in Minneapolis where he was taking a real hit.
Right. I think you were absolutely right. One, everything he does from Iran to Venezuela to Minnesota to Don Lemon is so that we can stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein, period, dot, end. And 2, he knows, I mean, this man understands television and media and optics and the sort
It's all he
of
understands.
winds change. Yeah, literally.
How to sell it, sales.
Exactly. Because I mean, he said about the new Fed chair, he's straight out of central casting. Right? I mean, this is why all the women are getting Mar-a-Lago face. I mean, he likes a certain aesthetic. And so I do think that, you know, the more we talk about Don Lemon being arrested and First Amendment and what is happening and Alex Preddy and like, you know, Minnesota, we're not talking about ICE agents. We're not talking about the fact that public opinion is changing. We're not talking about the fact that you promised cheaper groceries and cheaper gas, and that hasn't happened. We're not talking about the fact that your tariffs have been an unmitigated disaster for American farmers and American small business owners. We haven't talked about the fact that none of these tariffs have sort of put the punishment on the country in the way that you promised it would. It's actually put it on the consumer. We're not talking about the fact that you've made over $1 billion in a year being president. And we still haven't seen your taxes. And you're suing, you're suing the IRS for $10 billion.
That was last night's news. Yeah, he's suing
a portion of your taxes. right? So it's just like you've put judges in places so that they can do and say what you want, but then when certain judges actually either aren't sort of beholden to you, or certain judges actually think about the law and their own reputations and choose not to just go in the Trumpian fashion, then he gets furious and it's like, why are they a judge? They shouldn't be there. I mean, this man literally, first of all, we know he's half out to lunch. But when he is lucid, he's full on in dictator mood, as he promised he would be.
Yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
I think you guys like a dictator. Wink, wink, kissy, kissy.
Not focus. Yeah, it's just a distraction. And you had a great list of very important issues. One thing I would add would be he's destroyed our relationship with our friends and major trading partners. And like, if you just pay a little attention to the news and just like all these other countries that had not made trade deals for like 30 years
They're like,
are
hey, girl.
making deals like,
Yeah.
Canada with Asia, South
Right.
America with Europe. And it's like, we're leaving our market out.
I mean, we will not be able to detangle what he has done for at least a generation. At least.
I disagree. I don't know what to say, but I think I want to disagree with you just because I don't want to believe that.
Well, I mean, with Venezuela, we saw what happened with Iraq. We're still sort of half in, half out. Like, we're not fully out. We're not fully out of Afghanistan. Do you know how many billions upon billions of dollars we were spending to be there?
I
And
think
kids can't
markets,
have
I,
school lunch?
I'm about to say something about economics I have no business saying publicly, but I feel like markets will snap back because people like to make money in capitalism. And if it's like, I've got a widget to sell you, and last month I couldn't sell it because that guy was in charge. And now the new guy's in charge and he pulled the switch and now I can sell it to you, they'll start buying it. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I don't think that you're wrong. And by no means am I an economist, right? I took AP Econ. I'm like, let's print more money. I mean, I feel like that's like the Donald Trump ethos. It's like, let's be Zimbabwe, where a chicken sandwich costs $1.3 billion. But
Is that right?
I went to Zimbabwe
They
and it
have
was
chicken
$1.3 million
sandwiches.
for a chicken sandwich and a beer. It was. I was like, oh, this is what inflation looks like. I get it now. Like, I get it. But I think for so many years, America was sort of the central clearinghouse. So it's like, if other nations, our allies and friends, wanted to sort of do business with others, it's like, oh, we sort of go through America and team up, and then they're kind of like the point person, and we sort of we're the plus one. We're the we're on the guest list, but America's the invite. And now they're like, oh, y'all are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, like, because the thing is, before, allies could say that was a fluke. He got in, they didn't know, and so let's not punish them. He gets in a second time. It's like, oh, half of your country is nutty, and we can't negotiate with these people. We can't work with these. Cash Patel, you want to have a meeting on a jet ski with your honeypot girlfriend everywhere,
Hey,
right? It's like, what are allies are like, she can't be here. We've got people in offices like, you haven't even gotten clearance yet.
oh my
Remember,
God.
Jared Kushner did not have the clearance he needed to have those conversations and be in the rooms where he was. So
Well,
like, real organizations are like, what ragtag janky nonsense is this country right now?
it
And I
really is.
think what he's exposed is like, we've been a little janky for a long time,
If this
but we've
country
just
under this regime were a 2-star amusement park, what kind would it be? Like, I feel like a
no,
almost
I've always
closed
it's a
water
hotel.
slide.
No, it's a hotel. We're Howard Johnson. The brochure says that we're a Four Seasons, and we've always acted like we're a Four Seasons or Ritz. But it's like, but I'm here, and this ain't the Four Seasons. This is like a Motel 6 at best
There are
on the
ducks
side of
in
the
the
road.
pool.
Like, but like, you see when you go online, like Expedia or whatever, and it's like, oh, this hotel looks great. And then you get there and it's like, because I finally realized like a 4-star hotel in Europe is like a 2.5-star in the
Oh,
States.
yeah. Yeah.
I finally had to stop like going through like
Interesting.
American.com because I was like, I keep doing 4-star hotels and this is not it. So it's like, America, hey girl, 1, you're in danger. 2, he has exposed us for the fragility of our democracy, for the racism, for the cruelty, for the anti-immigrant sentiments that are just beneath the surface that he's excavated, for the passiveness of leaders, for the fecklessness of Congress that's just abdicating their power. I think the fact that we can villainize a mother who's unarmed in her car, we can villainize a nurse who is protesting. It's like, well, he had a gun. It's called the Second Amendment. And last I checked, you guys love talking about the Second Amendment. You love talking about the First Amendment too during COVID, where it's like, I can't wear a mask. When I go to Walmart, I have to breathe. You can't make me wear a mask. And now ICE agents, all they do is wear masks. Like, which one is it? Can you not breathe or can you breathe? Right?
They don't really seem to know or care about the Fourth Amendment either, but yeah.
But also, you all have less training than my nail tech.
Oh.
Nail technicians and hairdressers and barbers need way more hours of training than these ICE agents. And people keep calling them officers. I was like, you're not an officer. That's disrespectful to police officers and National Guardsmen and women who have spent hours and hours and months training, not just physical, but psychological training. These guys are just cosplaying because they've been playing, Fortnite and whatever, what's the shoot 'em up game in their mother's basement their whole lives. And now they get to cosplay in real life with guns and ammo and,
it's one guy said one of the ICE agents shooting rubber bullets, something said, it's just like Call of Duty, man.
That's the one I was thinking. Yeah.
He's never been with a woman is the reporting.
But this is also, it's like, these are men, we keep having these conversations like, what's wrong with American men? And, they feel so left behind, especially white adjacent. And, what should we do? And it's like, well, hey, what we shouldn't do? Give them guns and release them onto society. I don't know what we should do. I'm not a child psychologist, but I tell you one thing, we shouldn't arm them to the teeth and let them go into cities and sort of point guns at brown people.
I was not expecting. I really thought you had a prescription about what we should do. I was ready for it. You're like, I'll tell you what we should not do. Is let them go to the store and buy any weapon that they want. I think that's a thing we should say. We have a few questions. Could you fill this form out?
But Peter, when we're justifying detaining a 5-year-old, the vice president of the United States is like, well, his dad ran away. So, what we're supposed to do, just leave him. It's like, well, first of all, why were you there in the first place? Why were you harassing his father in the first place? Why are you all going to school pickup and drop off, harassing families? Do you know how many students who aren't in school? Do you know how many people who aren't at work? Do you know how many jobs are small businesses are going under because they don't have employees, and also they don't have customers? Do you know how many women are suffering from domestic violence who aren't going to go to a hospital or a shelter or in public at all? I mean, the trauma and the cruelty is so long of what is happening. You and I, we've talked offline about this. Both of us had, by and large, great childhoods. Parents that loved us. We had fun sibling, yards to play in. We played games. We had friends. All the things.
Everything was idyllic. It was.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally in your childhood bedroom looking at the beautiful birds and
I'm here now. Go ahead.
So when we think about that, and you think about core memories, right? I think about a core memory is my first Christmas when we moved to Philly, and in a stocking stuffer, my parents got me a Duran Duran tape. My babysitter loved Duran Duran, and I loved Duran. I was a kid, but I loved Duran Duran, and I felt like they got me. You know what I'm saying? They got me this Duran Duran tape that I really wanted. And it's like, what does a 6-year-old need to know about the reflex? And it's like, because I wanted it. And it's just that's a core memory for me of feeling like my parents didn't understand why the 6-year-old really wanted this Duran Duran tape. But they were like, whatevs. If this is what and I low-key still have the tape. But that's a core memory. Core memories.
Declutter.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We'll get to that. But core memories with my sister and making up dances and roller skating and all the things. These kids, their core memory is the pit in their stomach that they feel when they have to go to school and they don't know who's picking them up after pick up and drop off because their parents might be gone forever.
I was trying to think of what my daughter's core memory. I thought you might have been going in this direction, but I didn't go to school every day afraid of anything but maybe a bully, or being ridiculed or embarrassed or things like that. But I didn't go to school ever thinking I was going to get shot. I know my younger daughter, especially, like so many American students, has had to deal with that every day. Mm-hmm. She can't wait to move out of the country just for the simple fact that she won't have to worry about that. And that might be an irrational fear if you look at statistics or something like that. But I'll give it to any kid today whose core memory is growing up in an America with so much violence. You're talking about the undocumented community and what they're dealing with. We all know to some extent, COVID, lockdown, not being able to go to work. But they're having to stay inside, not go to school, not go to work to be able to pay for things because they're afraid of federal police.
Well, first of all, they're not police. Let's not disrespect the police. Okay. These are sort of vigilantes that are paid goo gobs of money by the federal government with minimal training and sort of a made up agency that we just sort of are hyper.
There's got to be something to catch all the call to catch.
I mean,
all these
comes
guys
to mind, but like they're, I mean, like, let's not disrespect the police, like
federal goons.
Like, and you know, I have issues with the police for sure, but like, let's not disrespect the police and put these guys, because even the police are like, what are you doing? Like, we are trained not to pull out our gun unless it is absolutely impossible. And like, yes, we have examples of police officers who shoot innocent people. This is what we protest about as Black people all the time. But like, let's be clear, by and large, police officers are trained not to do that. Like, there are many police officers
I will certainly concede to the point that police have to go through a lot more training than what these guys have to go through. The standards are generally higher.
Police aren't walking down the street just like I'm on patrol.
Well, I mean,
they should have, if
you been to
properly trained,
a Port Authority.
Right. No, but those aren't police officers. Those are military officers.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's like, if you look at like any city municipal police officer, they are not holding their gun out in their hand with the finger on the trigger.
No, that's for sure.
Because they're trained not to.
Yes. That's most gun owners as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Except for the Call of Duty boys that are like, hunting people.
So what do you make of the inflection point? What do you want to call? How do you see what happened in Minneapolis after the deaths of several people now, two of which were on camera? Obviously, everybody knows a little bit about this, has some thoughts, have an opinion. But Chrissy, I really wanted to get your kind of general reaction to the resistance, to the people of Minneapolis. I think creating kind of a cohesive community to protect vulnerable people. I've been really impressed. I've been talking to a lot of people from Minneapolis, the way that people have stood up and stood together. But what are your thoughts?
Well, sadly, Minneapolis isn't new to this type of tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's happened many times in their communities. I think this is different. It reminds us of, sort of parts of the civil rights movement where it's like, well, now it's not Black people, because that changes the conversation. Now you have white people who are like, I don't feel safe. Really? Welcome to America. Like, and it's terrible that you feel this way, but this is the way so many people have been trying to explain to you that, like, you could get shot walking down the street. You're not even doing anything. Alex Preddy's going to help a woman who was pushed on the ice by the ice goons. And then they push him. And then I can't watch the tape because I grew up with these visuals from the 60s in the civil rights movement, and it feels the same. And it's that same horrible pit in my stomach where you get like the salt saliva taste, and it's like, it feels the same. And so I think I can't say that we will, but we might turn a corner because it's innocent white people. I don't know, because when you have the federal government now just saying like, they were villains and domestic terrorists, and I mean, just lies about who these people were, and just repeating it. I think that we're so polarized right now where people are like, well, if they didn't want to get shot, they shouldn't have been there. And it's like, because so many people don't ever think that like their rights will be taken from, I'm talking about like MAGA supporters, and they want their rights to be taken away from them because they're like, I'd rather have less just to make sure that these immigrants don't have anything.
Does it ever get old, or should we not stop talking about how, I only call him this in this context, usually I call him names, but the president of the United States is on a daily basis putting targets on individual people's backs, from a congresswoman like Ilhan Omar, which he's done several times, and we saw her get attacked this week, to Alex Preddy, who he's now demonizing. Like, he goes after specific Americans. He puts targets on specific Americans and others all the time.
And encourages people to sort of, I mean, when he puts you in his crosshairs, he's essentially telling his supporters, like, go get them. That's what he did on January 6th. It's like,
And I'll
go
give
get
you a pardon if you do.
Yeah, of course. That's why none of these ICE guys are like too concerned. It's like,
Yeah,
whatever. It might be a slight inconvenience, but like you gave a blanket pardon to everyone from January 6th. And then you fired all the people who actually did their jobs to prosecute folks from January 6th. You
true.
know, and so like Ilhan Omar, I mean, he's again his disdain for black women. He's hated her from the very beginning. This whole like we've got to find corruption in Minnesota is just because he doesn't like her, he doesn't like Somalis, he doesn't like immigrants, you know, he doesn't like their country. You know, we know that there's fraud everywhere, obviously, and we know that, you know, Texas has had their fraud and every state has their own little pockets. But this is just sort of like, we know that he kind of comes up with something in the middle of the night when he's alone
Yeah.
and not sleeping. I mean, that's also just, you know, you're hate tweeting on Christmas. It's like, right, because you don't have any family. Like, you're not with anybody. You're just literally in the room by yourself, wide awake, just angry. And so, like, it is frightening that it's the president of
Probably
the
got the
United
TV
States
on.
who doesn't always has the TV on, right? But who doesn't understand the gravity of the job, doesn't understand the weight of his words. And the fact that we as a nation did not put in place rules after January 6th so that he could never run again and do this to our nation. The fact that when he didn't, and I was so enraged and incensed by this, and no one sort of matched my energy. And I was like, okay, maybe I know I'm not being histrionic because I'm not a histrionic person. But the fact that he did not attend Joe Biden's inauguration
Oh,
was indicative to me of the danger that he posed to democracy.
well, that would have
Because
been like accepting
yeah,
the
and that's a
law.
peaceful transference of power that we have had
Yeah,
as an institution since our inception,
yeah,
right? Even when Bill Clinton beats George H.W. Bush, he's there presenting.
yeah, yeah.
Even when, you know, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton go back and forth, and then he wins, she's there, right? Even when Donald Trump beats her, and, you know, obviously it's part of her role as first lady, but it's like we acknowledge, and you know, Biden went to Trump's inauguration. I mean, as
But
he
not only did he not acknowledge it then, yesterday he sent the FBI in to raid the Fulton County voting machines to get, like, he's still trying to
he wants those
prove
11,000 votes.
he's still going to come up with some kind of a lie that said that he got cheated. I mean, that's
That's the only way
clearly,
he can sort of rest. It's like, I didn't win in 2020, so it had to have been fraud. But don't forget when he thought that he was going to lose in 2016. Remember, he kept saying all through the election season when it was purported that he was definitely going to lose to Hillary Clinton. He was like, it's rigged, it's fixed, you know, it's a lie, everything's corrupt, you know, everyone's cheating. And then when he wins, it's like, never mind, false alarm.
you mentioned Ilhan Omar. No surprise that he's targeting black women. Just wanted to get your take on Nicki Minaj.
Ugh. Well, I mean, you know, so many people are like, why is she doing this? It's like, well, first of all, she's not a citizen. And so she recognizes that at some point in time, anyone who's not a citizen will have a target on their back. So she's trying to get ahead of things. She already has that little gold card that means nothing. So it's like, you know, she's got to wait for her check to clear. But I don't know what her money is. I don't know what her finances are. But, you know, it's been reported that her finances are a little funny. You know, both her husband and her brother have both been convicted of, you know, sex crimes and sex offenses. So I think that she's trying to protect herself and her family. And she's also from a country that, you know, is on the list that Trump thinks is like a trash country. She's Trinidadian national. So this is, you know, we can see this a mile away. And she's trying to,
Self-interested.
that's it. And here's the thing, you know, she hasn't put out a good album in a while. So it's not like her base is like, you know, she'll just get a new base. And the sort of MAGA base, she's new and she's, you know, she'll be a chameleon and sort of rap about whatever they want. But I mean, if she's saying that he's or the president's so attractive and charming, and I was like, lady, what are you doing? Like, tone it down a bit. Like, we get it, okay? You don't have to go overboard.
It's a little bit too much.
Just a little. This is a bridge too far. Like, we get it. You need the citizenship.
He loves the flattery, though. He lives on it. Lives on it all day long.
I mean, it's so crazy because all the world leaders are like, Girl, all you got to do is just tell him he's pretty and you can get whatever you want.
Although the argument now is that didn't work. Like Europe tried that and he fucked them.
Well, I mean, because he's like, you didn't tell me it was pretty enough. Like, it'll never be enough for him.
You didn't give me Greenland.
Right. Well, because the thing is, it's like
they drew the line at Greenland.
When you have someone who is like so emotionally and morally bankrupt, say nothing about how he's bankrupt. And Jerome Powell was like, "Sir, we have seen you bankrupt all your businesses. You are not about to do this."
He's enriched himself and like by $4 billion in a year.
In a year.
Yeah.
So there's a hollowness inside. There's a pit that will never be fed.
Yeah, I think it's a prerequisite to work in the administration. You have to be hollow. You be see through.
But I mean, like when they play the compilation of like Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and Kristi Noem, all of them, it's like this man is a danger, not to him, just to himself, to our nation.
All of those people saying that in 2015. Yeah, it's powerful to see and see how they all.
JD Vance, like everybody, it's just like keep him away from 1600 Pennsylvania because this man is going to take us on a bullet train to hell.
His former chief of staff, John Kelly.
Yeah.
That guy's opinion holds a little weight. I think it's fair to say. But what are you most worried about headed into a midterm election? And what are you most worried about kind of day to day? We've seen obviously ICE is every day. We're not seeing the Epstein files. Everything seems to be a distraction, flooding the zone. Iran, he's just arrested one of the most prominent journalists, independent journalists in the country, raiding, the Fulton County. I mean, is there anything that you're specifically thinking, let's keep our eye on this, or are you trying to?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Bannon promised that this is what we would feel, right? So it's like flood them with everything and so much trauma and chaos and images and anxiety and fear. And it's just like people are just going to shut down at a certain point in time. You remember how we felt like when Joe Biden got sworn in and it was like,
yeah.
Everyone's like, my blood pressure just went down. And like, my God, you didn't realize like how much you'd been holding. It's sort of like when you're commuting, you don't realize you're commuting. Right. So like, for example, if you've got to drive up to Syracuse twice a week, you do it. Right. Like your body's
I whine about it. I complain to people.
But like you do it. Your body will do it for as long as you need to do it. And then when you stop doing it and it's like, oh, I'm home for a month and I don't actually have to be on the road and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And your body's like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. And then it allows you to just like release. And you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea just how much of a toll it took me. Because it's like, hey, I have to do it. Like we are highly functioning individuals. I commuted for 3 years from Massachusetts back and forth to New York. It's like partner was in New York. I was in Massachusetts. Like we got to make this thing work. And it's like, it wasn't a problem until I stopped doing it.
But it can be too much. Like the analogy you're drawing is one you're saying you do it. You rise to the occasion. But I think that civil rights leaders and scholars have been, teaching us this for years, that you have to, they want you to quit. They want to grind you down and scare you into hiding and quit. That is the goal. That is the aim. They want you to be ignorant and apathetic. And so you always have to come back.
Stop reading the news. They want you to sort of be like, oh, this protest, I don't want to get shot. I'm an independent journalist. I'm not going to speak out. I'm a professor. I'm not going to go on these shows. Like, it's just, they want sort of fewer and fewer voices, fewer and fewer passion. And I think one of two things is going to happen. Either that will happen and people will just sort of check out, or folks are like, no, like as Gavin Newsom says, or, the mayor of Minneapolis, it's like, it's coming to a town near you. So you better support us now and you better speak up now before it's too late.
People
have the examples.
What is it called? Like there's not an election till November and people are constantly saying, what can I do? What is it called when they get an opportunity to do something because ICE is now in their town and now they become the people who look out for and transport and wash and grocery shop and support and provide, like people to fight their anxiety. You've told us this, do things,
Yeah.
move your hands, go get something done. I do feel like people are rising to that
Yeah.
occasion because they feel so frustrated, so angry, and so helpless that if you're going to come into my town and threaten my neighbors, I'm going to do something. That's what I'm seeing. And I hope, and we've seen that before in this country and certainly others, right? I mean,
Well,
like,
I mean, that's the beauty of this country, is that collective action is real, and this is how we've gotten out of these things before. And as I explained to my students, the beauty and the curse of American democracy is that everything that's done can be undone, good and bad, right? And we ebb and we flow of high tide and low tide, and we're in a low tide right now. But we do see people sort of like coming together, after like tragedies, whether it's 9/11 or Hurricane Sandy or whatever it may be, right? And so we know that people are doing pickup and drop off for other people's kids, right? We know that people are grocery shopping for their neighbors because they're sort of trapped in the house. We know that people are looking out for people's kids if their neighbor gets abducted in this particular circumstance. I hope that it's not just the National Association of Black Journalists who speak out on behalf of Don Lemon and Georgia Ford. I hope that it's all journalists who speak out. It can't just be NABJ supporting Don Lemon and Georgia Ford. And we need to put the two of them together because they're both independent journalists. And one is obviously more famous than the other because he was on CNN for many years. But let's be clear. Independent journalists are sort of keeping these stories alive. And so whether they have bigger platforms or not, they need to be part and parcel together. But if white people are just sort of like, well, I don't really know Don Lemon, so I'm just going to be quiet. This isn't the time.
I don't think you're going to see I think this is very similar to what happened with Jimmy Kimmel and every entertainer up and down.
The difference is Jimmy Kimmel wasn't arrested. Jimmy Kimmel
Absolutely, but all of the
still
rest,
got paid.
all of the rest of us said, this has to stop right now. You can't do this. You can't be knocking people off of their stage, off their platform. In this case, I think journalists across the country, corporate, it's like when some journalist gets abducted or killed in another country, they start wearing the pin. Some Russian journalist, some American journalists, they wear the pin for 400 days. They talk about it. Jake Tapper talks about it every day or something, just mentions it. I think that American journalists are going to see what's happened to Don Lemon, and every independent journalist is going to climb on up this mountain and meet him there. And I think everybody's going to come together. Like, you can't be arresting a journalist for covering this protest. I mean, I don't even understand exactly what happened that day, but I know two judges were like, there's nothing wrong here. You didn't do anything.
It's a nothing burger. And so now we're just ignoring judges, which this administration has done time and time again. But I mean, here's the thing. It's like, well, are people going to speak out? I would hope that they do, but
my concern is that
remains to be seen.
I think everybody's going to speak out. My concern is the one I had to begin with, is this is going to be a dominant issue. Don Lemon is a kind of celebrity journalist. Everybody knows this guy. And now we're all going to be talking about him and say, free Don Lemon, which we should. But also, where are the Epstein files? What about every other story that really matters and impacts the government shutdown potential, the trade war, and all of the rest of the corruption that's happening? And we will be distracted by this. And that's why they do it to some extent, I'm guessing.
I mean, listen. When was the last time that the Epstein files were on the front page of the New York Times or CNN or
when some new file was released or some legal action was taken? I think
it's been a minute.
Ghislaine Maxwell is going to have to testify. And apparently she said a couple days ago, we heard news that she said 25 prominent men all bought their way out of prosecution. Didn't get nearly enough coverage, but I did see that. That seems like a pretty important thing to pursue.
We all know that this office is up for sale.
Oh, hell yeah. More than any office ever. More than a mayor.
Everybody knows it.
More than Boss Hogg. I mean, come on.
We've seen people paying for pardons. We've seen people paying to, get out of prison. I mean, we've got world leaders. It's like, you were convicted. And it's like,
Yeah.
Drug trafficking. What's that? We haven't talked about Maduro. Are we going to start just kidnapping? I mean, I think this is where world leaders are like, he just disagreed with him and went to his country and kidnapped him.
He's threatening the Ayatollah every day, the supreme leader of Iran, and he sent the Navy there. So that also could be a thing that we watch.
And as someone who does her family budget, we ain't got the money for this.
Well,
I'm going to leave morality and international geopolitical politics out of it for a hot second. Let's just talk real New York business. Girl, we don't have the money.
Well, you're talking about for foreign adventures and wars, no doubt about it. We never
don't
have.
have
We never
money.
have. We always put it on the credit card, but we don't have the money for ICE. But we did give them, we did budget the money for ICE. We took money from people's health insurance subsidies and gave it to these goons that can't do 15 push-ups or run a mile.
They're saying that these 5-year-olds, if you can't afford your school lunch, that's on you, Timmy. That's on you, right? Don't forget, Philando Castile was constantly in trouble because he would give kids lunch and he wasn't supposed to, or he would pay for their lunch, which again, he wasn't supposed to do. But he would see a child who did not have, money on their books, basically, and either he would pay for it himself, which is not allowed, or he would give them some sort of food.
Speaking of which, just every day, so many huge stories that matter that go undercovered. The Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, of course, that department is in charge of SNAP and getting food to schools and to people who need it. She proudly went on television and said they just cut some, I don't know the number, a huge amount of money from SNAP. She said, we believe in giving a hand up, not a hand out. And it's just so brutal. It's so brutal. It's food. It's food.
It's food.
It's not necessarily.
Listen, we plant trees that won't bear fruit because we don't want people to have free food. So we've always done that. I mean, I just think that, like, have you had a colonoscopy?
Have I?
Listen, I'm
getting during this conversation.
Right, you're having one now.
Are we done here?
I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's worth it just for those drugs alone.
Oh, hell yes.
That's the best anesthesia. I've had several.
That's why I reacted that way.
That anesthesia is top notch.
It is top tier. We agree.
Like, this is what Michael Jackson was using every night. I was like, wowzers.
I would too if I had his dough.
On a minor scale, like I had my first one a few years ago when I turned 45, and I was a rookie, so they gave me a 4 p.m. appointment. Rookie move, right? You always want the 9 a.m. appointment.
Not get the morning. You want to eat.
Gotta have the morning, people. Yeah. Okay. But, of course, I'm a rookie, so whatever. But that means I have to start fasting, that afternoon, the day before, and then it carries into 4 o'clock. And then afterwards, I'm stuck in traffic to get home to eat. Like, it was just, when I say medieval torture. So I'm a little hangry, obviously. And my stomach's growling, I'm drinking this Elijah, whatever. And I know that this is like such a minor point, but I was like, I have never had a day in my life where I was like hungry because I couldn't afford food.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm hungry right now because I'm getting this colonoscopy. I'm hungry because I didn't plan my day out and I'm in these meetings and my stomach's growling. But it's like, I have a lot of educators in my family and in my life. And like, Chrissy, a hungry child cannot learn. It is so hard. They are trying so hard. First, they're kids, but they're trying so hard to pay attention.
A hungry adult can't focus on anything.
I can't focus. And guess what? I am not my best self.
Yeah.
And you've seen glimmers of Chrissy, not her best self. So it's like, I just feel like the level of cruelty to say, so, these children are stealing from the roles of government where it's like, okay, so you just demolished the East Wing. I'm fascinated by the story that I first heard from Pablo Torre about the soil from the East Wing that it seems as though they're dumping on some public golf course in DC because they're supposed to have renovations 2 years from now. And it's like, wait, but does this soil have asbestos in it? Like, are you dumping potentially toxic soil on a public golf course? It's like, that's on the nose for this administration if that is indeed
they are very much deregulating all the environmental standards.
I mean, just
doesn't get nearly enough coverage. My friend Kim says in the live chat, hungry when you can't afford food is different. You don't know where that next meal is coming from. Yeah, the anxiety that adds to it. One time when I first lived in New York and I was too proud to take any money, I had no money in the bank account. I really did. I had no money for food, and I stole an apple from a bodega, and I immediately got caught. He saw me take it. He's like, where are you going with that apple? Do you know what I did? I threw the apple up in the air and I ran. That's the end of that story. I stole an apple, got caught, threw the apple in the air, and ran.
and still didn't eat. But I
No.
mean, I think like but also we like criminalize poverty in this country and we surround it with shame
Oh yeah.
so that when people are in need, and especially this particular administration just makes it seem like it's a moral failing. And it's like, well, you all are stealing at rates that like we can't even keep up
Yeah.
with.
Oh yeah. Yes. The white
Like,
collar crime, like the idea that people are more. It's so funny you just said that. It's not funny at all. But nothing is more American than criminalizing poverty. But I was just thinking, like, why would you be more angry at a poor person who committed a crime to get by, to steal, to get a meal, whatever, versus a rich person who has everything. And they're stealing from the middle class person's investment portfolio or whatever. Like,
but all you have to do is tell the middle class person, it's like, you don't have because these immigrants took it. Took what?
They didn't take anything. They're doing so many of the jobs that you could never do.
Right.
And you're happy to have them do it. You're happy to exploit their illegal, their undocumented status.
Which I think is also an interesting point, though, because we've stopped calling folks undocumented and we've switched solely to illegal alien, which I think dehumanizes.
No, the government has changed the standard.
Yeah,
we are still trying to refer to them as humans.
It's human beings, because I was like, if we want to talk about illegals, ask the Native Americans. They're like, all y'all got to go, all 330. So I do think that it's so interesting, like living in New York, because so many, like,
now.
Yeah, 340 million. So many people buttress one another, especially if you take public transportation. I take public transportation a lot, A, because I believe in public transportation, but B, most of the time it's faster than sitting in an Uber. And I like comfort, but like, and cheaper. But usually I have to get someplace. So I don't have time to sort of sit in a car and like, be above ground. But I was going to the train station. I was going to Philly, and I needed to be there early in the morning for whatever. I can't remember why. And so my train was at like 7 a.m. And so I was like, well, it'll take me literally 30 minutes on the train. So I hop on the train at like 5:30 or something like that, just in case, I miss one and whatever. And when I say it was standing room only at 5:30 in the morning, because it's like folks are coming from work, folks are going to work. I felt like I was on like the shift change time period of like folks coming back and going to.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking at people's hands, looking at their shoes,
boots,
looking at like what my grandparents would call bone tired. It's like, you're tired, sure. And like, but there's some people where it's like, oh, you're on your way from your second job to your third job. And like you're napping from your second job onto your third job. Like that's a level of exhaustion that like a lot of people have no idea about. And like they're the ones being criminalized.
And I'm not saying there aren't a lot of poor white people who are working real hard, but if you think that Black and brown people are lazy and don't work hard and are living off the fat and all those myths that you've been told for your whole life, then ride the subway at 3 a.m. and it will be filled with Black and brown people who are going to or coming from work, working the hardest jobs and the worst shift, generally speaking. Or go visit your mother in the hospital, for God's sake. I've been in the hospital for the last 3 weeks, and it's just been so enlightening. I'm not surprised by anything other than people that work in hospitals will to come back the next day.
But also, it's like you're there at 2 a.m, and guess what? So are a whole bunch of other people making sure that your mom is okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, we're their kids, right?
We're
their spouses. But it's so interesting. I'm taking this class at the Sanitation Academy.
Oh yeah, you told me about this offline, and I'm fascinated. I want to take it.
I'm like learning all the things about sanitation and how we move trash for 9 million people, and not including the people coming to New York every day to work and live in other places. And so I'm learning so much. You see the Sanitation Academy, it's great. It's like all these different modules. So I finished a module yesterday, and it talked about how like being a sanitation worker is like one of the 4th most dangerous jobs in the country, because you're on an active road, right? Like you're operating a truck that like crushes things. That's one. But like cars aren't necessarily always paying attention to you. Like you're on a moving vehicle as someone who's jumping on, jumping off. You're lifting. You're dealing with like sometimes people put toxic things in the trash.
Shard glass that rip your
or like paint or whatever it may be that you're ingesting. And so it's one of these things where it's like, right, our trash seamlessly moves in and out of the city for 9 million people. And that's a low estimate because of all the transplants who come in 7 days a week, not just 5 days a week. 9 million people plus, and it just miraculously goes away. And we're using, I forgot what however many tons per day. I'll find it. 12.5 tons daily. That's 25
Insane. I
million
love
pounds.
that you're learning about this. You're driving to a point, but I just, it's fascinating to hear the statistics, much less know about this.
Like just all the and so the thing is, it's like these are people, back in the day they used to wear white because they were the line of defense, just like doctors, to make sure that we don't die of like disease, because trash can bring a lot of disease. So it's like they no longer wear white, but back in the day when they were sort of professionalized in the late 1800s, it's like, right, they are as important as the medical community for keeping you alive.
Outside my apartment, they couldn't get the trash door to the dumpster open, so people started leaving their trash on the snow. And they often, people where I live, they leave their trash outside the garbage. And I don't care. I don't care, but I always pick it up because I don't want to have trash on the ground near me.
Yeah. Well, in New York, we have rats. Like we have some neighbors.
I don't want rats.
We have a block issue, and like there's some buildings on the same block, but like have nothing to do with our building. But they don't have proper trash abatement, so of course they have rats. But like it's not like rats are like, oh, well, let's not go to this house because like they clean their trash.
Oh no.
They're just they run the block.
We have hamsters. We don't. I just thought that would be funny if you had like a hamster infestation, like those cute little ones you get at the pet store. Before you go, one more interesting, fun subject. You have a great column at the Amsterdam News, which has been around for 150 years?
Yeah, close to it.
And go to amsterdamnews.com, search for Christina Greer's columns, and always read it. Subscribe as well.
Support Black media.
Support Black media is the name of my new show. It's just me. This piece is helpful, and it's called "A New Year Means a Clutter Cleanse in More Ways Than One." I am addicted to decluttering. I make messes. I'm messy, and then it drives me nuts. And when I clean, I feel amazing.
Oh, the energy. Energy.
I don't know how to talk about it on a podcast or in any way that makes it interesting to other people. When I saw you write this, I was like, well, I got to ask her. Yeah. And so it's actually an important issue to make your life better. But why now? First of all, end of January, beginning of February.
So two real reasons. So I started the clutter cleanse January 1st, but you can do it February 1st too. And also February shorter if you sort of feeling, a little anxious about it. But the clutter cleanse for the listeners is on January 1st, you get rid of, on the first of the month, you get rid of one item. The second, you get rid of two. The third, you get rid of three, and so on and so forth. So since today is January 30th, I have to get rid of 30 items. Now, it could be this pen no longer works. I trash it. That is technically one item, right? What I have done is like I have jars and mugs of pens. I have been cleaning those out. That's one item. I'm not doing each pen. I'm sort of like, I just threw away a chunk of 20 pens. That's one. I'm going through file cabinets. I went in my office, my Fordham office, opened up a file cabinet. First thing I saw, fall 2015, stack of paper. Gone.
I hold on to it for nostalgia purposes.
I didn't even open it. I was like, it's 11 years ago.
I have midterm quarterly grades from elementary school.
Listen, but those are yours. These are students where it's like, this was a final paper. You didn't come and pick it up. I had notes from grad school my first semester. And I was like, I don't even know how to read these notes. This is such upper level statistics. I don't even do that anymore. Like that's when I was like knee deep in stats. Giving away books is really hard for me, but it's like, well, girl, you got 4 of these books. Right. And also for me, it's like someone else needs this. So let it go. Because especially when it comes to clothes. I
keep getting rid of my books.
Listen, but I've got 3 rows back. It's like you have to, because I can't open up new blessings and new energy in my life if I'm holding on to books I haven't opened in 20 years.
Don't tell me that. I won't do it.
And here's the second most important piece. On February 17th is the year of the horse that comes in, right? So exiting the snake. This is why relationships are ending, and sort of there's a lot of shedding that's
No,
going on that people are feeling like, what's happening? It's like
no.
the snake is ending, and not only is the year of the horse coming, it's the year of the fire horse, which happens every 60 years.
Not the fire
A
horse.
fire horse. And the fire horse energy is like supposed to be just like gangbusters, like
Hmm.
super positive abundance. You say it, it manifests, you get it. So like be intentional about your words and your actions. And I'm the year of the horse. So it's like even double for me. And I was like, I need to be prepared for all this amazing energy that is like proven does exist. And it's like, I don't want to start the year of the fire horse with all this old stuff.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I do know that I dated a lady who nicknamed me the fire horse. I'll tell you that right now. Nice gal.
Can you be serious for 1 second?
You're talking about fire horse.
Listen.
You're talking about fire horse energy. You're talking about
Yeah.
what's it called?
This is the Chinese zodiac, and it's been around way longer than us, so I'm into it.
I'm not doing astrology on this show.
No, it's the Chinese zodiac. That's not
Give you a
astrology.
Chinese zodiac. I don't know what that meant. It might have been a threat. It might have been a hug. I don't know.
So anyway, for your listeners, when in doubt, throw it out.
It's always a good reason. It's always a good time. Marie Kondo radicalized me. That book got me. I tried everything.
Well, I mean, I told my parents, I was like, the Swedish death cleanse, like they haven't done it, but I was like, please start to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not fair to your family and friends that they have to like sift through your papers from like God knows how
Speaking
long.
of which, what are the ethics? You know my situation. My mom's in the hospital. I'm here with my dad. Like, I think they should want me to sift through and help them declutter. And I've made a dent without getting in trouble. But when can you take other people's stuff and start reorganizing it for them? Is that?
But I think that like I wouldn't do papers and like potentially sentimental things. I would start with like the kitchen and the pantry.
Well, I took all his papers and I put them in a box. And I was like, you should just go through this and decide what you want. But it's like a mess on the counter. So I just put them in one box. I was like, I don't know what's what.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's straightening. You're not throwing things out.
I get yelled
I'm
at.
a master straightener for other people's homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In one of my, many CV items. Like, because if I straighten up your house, like if I come over and you're like, Chrissy, my house is a mess, but I'm having people over. It's like, I can straighten your house in like 20 minutes, but just know that wherever I put the thing that you had, it's no more than arm's distance away from where it was.
Oh, that's a good tip or good idea.
I will never take something from the kitchen and put it in the bedroom, because then you go crazy.
You have a lot of friends and you travel a lot and you stay with people. When you go to somebody's house and you're staying in their home, and how do you handle their clutter? Do you say anything? Do you do anything?
No, but if I'm in someone's guest room and there's like a lot going on, which I can't, I can't. What I will do while I'm there is like take all the stuff off the dresser and just put it in like a neat pile. So then I can have the dresser like clear, right? It's like if stuff is in all the drawers, then it's like, okay, I'm just going to live out of my suitcase. But like, some people have like tons of pillows and dolls or whatever, if you're in old people's house, they love a doll. And so it's like, okay, I'm putting all this stuff just like in the closet.
Who loves
while I'm here? And old people love a doll. They love a doll.
Hey, I didn't
like,
know.
I don't know. Old people love pillows and dolls. And so then before I leave, I put everything back the way they had it so that they don't see that like I couldn't deal with all their stuff.
Clever. Thank you for all the tips. Thank you for all the advice, the insight, the knowledge, the wisdom, the humor, all of it. You're always one of our favorites. I'm going to go declutter.
Things? No, start in February. Just one item on February 1st. So I have to do 30 today. And they're like 2 drawers that I haven't gone through. A few months ago, I did my linen kind of.
How'd you do? How bad? What was the worst like item you had in there? The most like longest term pathetic thing you found in your linen closet or linen space?
Oh, just like some like hand towels. Or it's like, you're not using these hand towels. Right. Like, why are these here? Like,
see, I would keep them for something. I would be like, I'll probably use them to clean something.
No, because I already have rags from old towels.
I keep them as a rag.
So my mom's a quilter, and so I put things in a whole special section just for her. So when she usually drives up to visit, and I just have like these, TJ Maxx bags that I give her because she can use those for batting, and she's in like a quilting circle, so they can rip that up and like she'll put them.
See, that's what I do too. I keep everything because I think I believe in sustainability so much that you can turn something into something. And I have
take it to Goodwill.
So much nonsense in my house, much less my apartment.
It's Goodwill. Then just like
get
but it has to get out of your house, because you know that feeling when things get like, people who have those Goodwill bags that they'll have for 2 years there, and then all of a sudden they start going through the Goodwill bag like, "Oh, I miss this." No, you don't. So it's like, get it out of your house so you can like release that energy.
When next fall, it's no secret that my ex-wife is likely moving to Italy and I'm moving back into my house. I want to do like a reality YouTube show where anybody, including you, can come up and just like look at how much nonsense I have created. Because I think I might need to get one of those dumpsters for all my outdoor projects, I mean, I got
Projects to nowhere.
so many outdoor projects to nowhere. It's so sad and pathetic. I would be so embarrassed, but also I'm for entertainment and comedy.
Right, but here's the thing. It's like, that was a version of you that's no longer you, and that's
Oh, it
okay.
is. I'm still that guy. I don't want to be. I
No,
really
but
don't
I'm
want to
saying,
be.
like, but that project at that time that you started and
Oh,
you
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
finish, it's like,
yeah.
it's okay. And, like, I think that's the thing we just talked about, like, this culture always attaches a lot of shame to a lot of different things, and it's
Mhm.
like, I used this thing. I no longer use it. It no longer serves me. And this is what I sort of been a lot better at. If it doesn't bring me joy,
Mm.
it has to go. So, like, I just got this new phone, spending all day at Verizon. Like, I hate
Yeah,
setting up a new phone. It's like
yes,
it's a day
yes.
long, and I'm still dealing with transfers. But I was gonna get this case, and it was a blue. And I was like, it's fine. It's nice. I tend to like a bright case so I can always find my phone in my bag with all my stuff. And there was a case that was this bright orange that I liked, but it was more. It was more expensive by $5. And I put the blue one in my buggy, and then I was like, "What are you doing? You're about to buy something that you're meh about, but the one that you really like, that you know is going to help you, A, in your life, because you always have so much stuff going on, you need to visually see a bright orange case, and it's also gonna bring you joy because you like orange and green, those are your 2 favorite colors. Why would you buy a blue one if it's not your favorite color and it doesn't bring you joy just because the orange is a little more expensive? And I bought the orange, and I was like, "Greer, what are you doing?" Where's my
Yep.
orange?
I bought orange. We both bought the same case.
Oh my gosh, but I have the 17, you have the 17 Pro or something.
Now I have the 29. I'm
Oh,
way ahead. I have an
listen,
Apple.
I had a
That's on the
13.
Apple.
I had a 13, so let's just say
I had a
it took a long time to
I had a Palm
upload.
Pilot.
Um, this thing is like, it says it's connected, but it's waiting to connect. I don't get it, but
Well,
it's
good
about
luck
to. Yeah.
on that. That's a nightmare. The transfer, the new phone.
I'm just gonna take it to this and be like, I have to figure
Yeah.
out signal. That's the only thing that I have to figure out.
All right. That shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for helping us figure all this stuff today. Always a great conversation.
And
Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Keep up
listen,
the great
I'm gonna
work.
be on you about that fire horse energy. On you. Like,
Please.
February 17th, it's happening.
I can't wait. I'm the
Okay.
fire horse.
You're not the fire horse.
I am. A lot of people think so. A lot of people are saying. Good night.
Get
Bye,
out.
everybody.
Stop
Thanks for
playing on
listening.
my phone.